Are you sick of playing games where you're constantly getting killed by young kids? Do you crave that realism found only in the most operator of games? Have you been living under a rock and not seen or heard of this game before? Well, do I have a game for you. Onward. Here we have a game that separates the boys from the slow reactions of, well, old farts like me. An experience where aiming at someone actually means pointing your hands at said person and pulling the trigger, thus ending their life. Where having the edge is either paying £150 for a carbon fibre gun stock with magnets and quick detach points, or making one with things. So what is Onward? Onward is a VR kind of milsim-light experience. Players have low health, weapons deal high amounts of damage to give that feel of realism, and the fact that it's in VR, you are actually holding the guns you are using. However, rather than having a 6-hour-long slow, deliberate campaign and objectives that run back and forth with teams of about 20 guys apiece, like in say Arma 3, Onward is more of a typical multiplayer with rounds or matches that are done in a couple of minutes. I would like to say that Onward is a heavily team-focused game where communication is key, but every game that I've played tends to end up with someone or me being called a Gunplay. Something Onward does extremely well, like a lot of VR games, is the gunplay. When you're in the shooting range or in an actual match, the way the guns feel is amazing. Despite the fact that there is no actual kick from guns, they are somehow able to convey this with the sounds and how your virtual arms seem to move to compensate for the muzzle rise of each shot. And the fact that if you shoot an automatic rifle with one hand, it's just uncontrollable, so you need to bring in your offhand to really steady it. This is what makes gunplay so fun and can also be one of the biggest immersion breakers for some people. Not just for Onward, but for all VR shooter games. The fact that there is nothing physically there in your hands to rest on and to grip, you can really struggle to aim, especially at a distance. I'm not someone who thinks that you really need to go crazy and buy an expensive VR gun stock just to enjoy a game, though I may give them a try in the future to see what they're like, but I am cheap enough to go ahead and make one. This is my abomination. I followed a guide for a rough idea of how to make one online with toilet paper tubes and duct tape and some pipe work, and then just put one together myself. Having this DIY stock does help me a hell of a lot. You can aim more steadily, especially at range, and I can quickly snap the reticle up instead of fumbling around trying to line up the controllers with my eye line and with each other. And I can also quite easily reload or charge the virtual guns as I have my left hand free to move. The downside of my DIY stock though is trying to use a pistol. Yeah, this is where the silly magnetic releases kind of become useful in game, and I have no sling points on mine, so if I need to use a pistol I have to just drop it, and as soon as it hits the floor my dog's gonna go and steal it. If you are new to VR and you need to develop your sea legs for VR and not just fall down because your inner ear decided to throw a wobbly, you can get accustomed to this game in the firing range, which also has a kill house assault course. I literally had no idea this was here the first few times I played it. The firing range is also a great place to put your loadouts together, have a mess about with what primaries, and decide which sidearms work best for you. You can then test your skills out and actually hit moving targets at a distance. There is a single player for this game, but yeah, just don't. Multiplayer. So yeah, that brings us back to multiplayer, the main draw of this game, and I gotta say, when I first tried it, I hated it. I was still big into that whole COD Battlefield mindset where you would just run in, be a bullet sponge, and still manage to get some kills. Yeah, no, that's not how Onward works. No more do we have those fast-paced Michael Bay action and only in Battlefield moments. Now we have slowly clearing rooms, checking comms with teammates and making sure you don't frag one another, not aiming properly down your sights and missing every single shot, drawing penises on the operations board every single game. You genuinely need to be a little bit slower on your moves. Ask yourself, is there already somebody watching this area? Can I really make it across that open ground? The core gameplay in multiplayer seems to usually be based on the classic search and destroy type of game, with an uplink station where a code needs to be entered to win the game or eliminating the other team. There is another modes akin to Team Deathmatch, but I would say uplink is your main type of game mode. This means that game sessions are short, similar to that of your arcade shooters like COD, but not in that I've just snorted 3 grams of gamer fuel and I can smell metal of my bullets. It's more akin to that of Rainbow Six Siege, in that a couple of shots is going to bring you down. One thing that Onward has got in it that many other VR games also have is proximity chat. And oh boy, I love this. Not only does it add to that immersion where your teammates walk away and they slowly get quieter to the point that you need to keep in contact with radios, but it also works for enemy players too. If an enemy or two are about to walk in a room that you've already set up in and are chatting away to each other, you can take advantage of this to get the jump on them. This also works with regards to radios, and both ways. You could be doing your best impression of a tree, hoping nobody will see you, and that one 12-year-old kid on your team starts shouting in the radio that he doesn't know how to arm the bomb, alerting anyone near you to your presence, and leading to your head having an unwanted guest making a passing through. Onward also has a fairly healthy selection of faction-specific weapons, which is always growing. Each weapon can be customized to your preference within reason, and with it being in VR, you have to reload them more or less how you would do in real life. You can have 2 loadout setups per class and for each faction. This is also something I would recommend that you set up in the firing range alone rather than wasting time in the pre-game lobby, as you will be shouted at. Should you get Onward? This is where things get a little bit more tricky. Would I recommend Onward? In a word, yes. Is it for everyone? No. You may need to take some time to actually get into Onward to actually appreciate it. Why did I have to say actually twice there? No idea. It's not really a game that I would say you can just jump into it and within one game you're in a rhythm and having fun. You need to really find a team and get yourself... What the fuck did I just write there? You need to really find a team that you gel with at least one... What the fuck? You need to really find a team you can gel with at least one other player, I would say, to make the experience really enjoyable. If not, you can sometimes find you are playing in silence and getting blasted every match, first by enemy players or fragged by teammates who are just there to grief everyone. If you have a few friends who also have VR and you're looking to get a game to try out together to have a laugh, I would honestly suggest playing something more like Contractors or Pavlov, as they are more tuned to be that more arcadey feel and have a very healthy mod community, which have been making maps that are the same from the likes of CSGO and COD. However, if you want to go for that more realistic gameplay of 1-2 shots that'll take out an enemy, or yourself to be taken out, so you actually need to think about your movements, I would say Onward is your game. I do really hope that the community will expand and for the creators to be able to continually add more to it, like more maps and more weapons and maybe even some more modes. So here's to the continued development of Onward VR and its community. I'll be playing it for a while yet and I hope to see you out there on the virtual battlefield. Take care.
I saw 2 guys flanking right.
Booyah.